We are now on release candidate 8, so it's 1.22.0 release candidate 8, and they have said that we will have a full release soon. Excellent. But there's so much that's come through. They have added a backup partial command, which is /db space backup partial, and then it's 16,000, 16,000, 16,005, 16,005 to extract all game and player data, but only some chunks. So they say this is useful to extract a broken area for debugging. Okay, the Theatre and Deep Noble Clothing set now has a rare chance to drop in Ruins loot. Excellent. A bit more loot is always welcome. And they have said that they've turned the world map waypoint backdrop from an outline into a shadow, which looks better on some icons. So let's have a look at this. Is there any change there? Oh, I see. Do I see? It says the world map waypoint backdrop from an outline into a shadow. Yes, they have. Don't sound so surprised that they've done what they said they would. Yes, I see it now. I didn't see it at first. But if you zoom in on some of the waypoints, I've got a backpack there. Let's just go down here. That's interesting, isn't it? It remains the same size. It's actually easier to see when you're smaller. Can you see this shadow here? That looks pretty good, I think. That's quite a nice change. Okay. Rusted gates and doors now all drop metal scrap. Some used to drop themselves. They've added a handbook guide for fishing, which more thoroughly describes how to find fish and why you might not be catching fish. Also links in worm handbook entries to the worm grunting stick. I love the fact that we are linking in to worm entries. Right, let's look at fishing. Right, simple fishing pole, wood. Okay. Oh, look at this. You will catch fish much faster if it has bait. That makes sense. You can add bait via the grid recipe or by holding the bait on your cursor and left mouse on the pole in your inventory. Fine. After bait has been added, it will show up in the tooltip. Note that normal meats and smaller fish can be used directly as baits, and they will tend to catch larger fish. Now, when it says normal meats, I wonder whether it means bushmeat. That would be convenient if I could use bushmeat to catch a big fish. After the pole is baited, you can cast your line out onto the water using right mouse. When the bobber goes under, set the hook using right mouse. The dead fish will appear in your inventory. Note there is currently no way to catch live fish. Good. See, currently no way. Maybe in the future we can. Oh, I quite like that idea. Right. So when the bobber goes under, set the hook, again using right mouse, dead fish. Fishing guide. Wow. That's stone. Why does it take me to stone? Why am I going to stone? The fishing guide. Sedimentary stone. That's not working for me, guys. Okay, well, let's not worry about that. Oh, for how to find and catch the fish. All right. Can be placed onto ground storage, yes, okay, and display containers. Let's have a look at bait. So dough stink bait, okay, red meat stink bait. Yeah, red meat. Poultry, bushmeat. Yes, now I've got fennel and I've got bushmeat. So that would make 3 bushmeat. Excellent. Back. Let's look at worms. Worms are obtained with a worm grunting stick. Here we go. Patch of bare soil. The sound of the stick makes vibrations that are to a worm similar to a mole, scaring them to the surface. Not every block of dirt will have worms, and the wetter the climate, the better the chance. Cold weather will result in fewer worms, and when it's freezing, they won't respond at all. That's pretty... Who can put worms on a shelf? Oh, how fantastic. A shelf full of dead worms. I love it. Some of the things in this are just too good. Too good. Okay, what else have they said? So they're explaining fishing a bit more, and no doubt I will see that in the future. They have said that raccoons can now fight back. Well, we've always been used to foxes fighting back, so now raccoons are going to fight back as well. The world becomes more dangerous with fighting raccoons. And they said less janky worm grunting. They have fixed the durability desync. They had fixed the audio not stopping. That was driving me mad. Thank you, guys. And grunting now ends after 5 seconds. Okay, so we have to get on with life. They have fine-tuned the grunting sound and animation. We can now also worm grunt on farmland. Oh, but the farmland fertility will not influence the yield. Oh, that's interesting. So you could, if you had surrounded your house by farmland, go worm grunting on farmland, and then you would be protected. I like that idea. Okay. Now, they've said that foxes now move about 1/3 faster. Oh no, are you kidding? Foxes are seriously fast at the moment. So they move 1/3 faster. I tell you, everything is becoming more difficult to catch and kill. And it fights back in the case of raccoons. The pig's movement and speed the pig's movement speed and seeking ranges have increased. Right, performance, items on the ground, not close to a player, enter a slow updating state after 5 seconds. That's interesting. Another performance tweak, further minor improvement for farmland ticking. Another performance one, they have improved the multiplayer server tick times around farmland and berry bushes. Okay. Now they've had a tweak. It will now generate gravel in some areas where it would generate no block layers and only have exposed rock. That is a world generation change. So you're only going to see the effect of that on new land. They're working on these particles in the forge. There is more glow and particles on the forge when being bellowed. Okay. They've added selected block classes to HUD debug screen. There you go. The Berry Bush Handbook text has been updated to reflect recent changes regarding the soil fertility mechanics. Okay, let me just check here. Have I got fishing in here? Can I get to fishing in here? Let's just see. No. They may have added the fishing, I just can't find it. That's probably me, not them. Okay, so we want to look at the berries, don't we? Blueberry, here we are. Can we get to a berry guide? We're placed on the ground. Let's look at the bushes. Here we are. Care and propagation of fruiting bushes. Right, can't be moved, yes. Get them with a knife, yes. 1 cutting per year, yes. Can have struggling and barren. Some individuals have special traits, yes. Wild bushes will only be found in healthy or struggling. Yeah, this is all fine. Ah, here we are. Each time a propagated bush produces a harvest, it will use up some of the fertilizer that has been applied to it. If the total fertilizer falls below certain thresholds, the bush will decline in health. Ah, right. Okay, the health will not necessarily decline every harvest, and a bush would in most cases require several years of continual harvest and no fertilization to go from bountiful to barren health. In the long term, propagated bushes' need for fertilizer will decline over time until after 20 years they will hardly need any, and they are eaten by sun bears and raccoons. Okay, I don't see that much change there, but you know, we just have to watch the fertilization on those. So obviously they are working on the detail of the instructions on that one, which looks great. So yeah, soil fertility mechanics, and they've put in a command stroke general backup. VCDBS will now delete the prior backup file before a backup is started to ensure a proper backup is made. I have to say, guys, I do backups in a slightly different way. I don't do them automatically. A tweak /wgen regen now also reloads bricklayers.json. Okay, they have added a contaminated coal item model and tweaked the texture. Why would you want contaminated coal? Let's have a look at this contaminated coal. Here we are, contaminated ore, unusable clutter, contaminated ore, oh wow, contaminated coal, wet and full of impurities, a very poor coal indeed. Forge temp modifier -200 degrees. Oh, so if you try and use contaminated coal, your forge will go backwards. Ugh. Why would you have contaminated coal? I expect it's part of the big ruins things. Right. They have done some SFX and GFX fine-tuning. So one of the tweaks is that the rainfall particles buff plus 5% opacity plus 20% rain particles plus 300% raindrop splash particles plus 30% rain particle size. Well, I always like the rain, so I hope it looks as good. Another fix, dead shivers no longer keep mouth idle animation running. I think that's a plus. I don't want dead shivers mouthing at me. Tweak, replaced placeholder fishing rod swish. Oh, I quite like the swish. They have tweaked the hats so that we can show more hair. Well, this is armour, so I don't expect to show hair under any of this. They have fixed small issues on theatre hats, okay, and they have fixed that some hoods were hiding hats. Okay, that's a lot of detail on things. Now, another one that's going to interest me, all pigs would only be protective around grey boar piglets. Oh, now in my private world, which some of you I know are following, I have the beautiful Red River hogs and I absolutely love them. So it looks as if the pigs would not be protective around the Red River piglets. So even if not that species. So it looks as if they're widening it so that pigs will protect their own species as well. Pigs also would only attack if in aggressive on damage emotion state, resulting in charging the player and then running away. They now will attack whenever in close range, so the pigs are more dangerous as well. Oh my, oh my. Okay. Oh, I wondered about this. They have replaced many big lanterns with the new small lanterns in generated structures. I had been slightly hoping that in some of the ruins I would find the old big lanterns. Oh no, they've replaced them with the small lanterns. I mean, the small lanterns are very pretty, as you can see on my hotbar, but they don't have the range of the big lanterns. And I do think for outside the big lanterns look good. I tend to build large clunky builds, so the big lanterns go well with them. These smaller ones look a bit delicate for me. I do love them though. Right, they have replaced old berry bushes in story locations. That makes sense. They fixed that placing snow shovel, on ground locks movement speed to 60%. These snow shovels, they feature frequently and often. They just are having such a problem with them. Right, they fixed the world map. Only the first 36 waypoint icons were displaying the correct icon. Oh my goodness, I hadn't noticed that. They fixed that the spawning of animals during world generation would use the wrong temperature. Oh, that explains why I've got so many goats in my hot areas that don't belong there. And they have fixed an imposter bellows cacti. Goodness, it caused the cacti to generate on water and not stack. I don't know what a bellows cacti is. Let's have a look for a bellows cacti. Let's see what we're talking about here. Bellows cacti. Well, that's not doing very well. Probably spelt it wrong. The bellows is there, the cacti is not. Let's have a look at cacti. Right, I'm familiar with that, the silver torch. Oh, that's the saguaro cacti. Ah, barrel cactus. So we've got three cacti, barrel, saguaro and torch. Did I misread that? Was it, have I misread that? It said imposter bellows cacti. All right, let's move on from that. The texture overlays didn't work for attached items, okay. And again, aged and very aged problem cabinets were not available in the creative inventory. They're available now. They fixed sheep logging errors with regard to a look animation they did not have. I haven't looked that closely at sheep, but I'll take their word for that one. Oh gosh, they're having problems with the rawhide again. This comes up every time. I tell you, the snow shovels and the rawhide mantles are really giving them issues. The rawhide mantle related errors in the loot randomizer they have fixed. Right, now it says the fishing pole tool rack transform position was excessively high. Okay, so they fixed that. The wanderer belt and sturdy backpack would cause texture problems when worn together. Fighting with each other for attention. The small bellows leather textures had some mismatch near the nozzle. I hadn't noticed that. I really hadn't noticed it. And they fixed that you are unable to catch juvenile fish due to the fishing pole not recognising bait. Well, I'm glad we can now catch juvenile fish. Good. And it says that berry bush cuttings would say trait when they had no traits. Now, I noticed that because I noticed on here, these said trait when they had no trait. So that has been fixed. Excellent. It's good to know. Let's come back where you can see me as we continue down the list of fixes and tweaks. Right, the help command logged an error when asked about wgen structure spawn. Oh dear. They fixed that chisel block combine in the crafting grid at the entire stack of chisel blocks. And it says they think they fixed a rare lockup of chunk DB thread when attempting to suspend server for autosave. Right. Another fix, prevent NRE in /debug chunk here command when chunk is not loaded. And also they have fixed that farmland was not updating moisture levels on the interim days when fast forwarding, when chunk loading. Oh, right. And they fixed that server crashing for unhandled exceptions. Oh gosh. They've got another one where they say this should fix kicked from server when interacting with the fishing pole in some way. Oh my gosh, last time, if you placed a cabinet near a player, it would send them off the server. And this time it looks like the fishing pole is acting as the sort of kick-out function. Anyway, they think they've solved it. And they said they should have fixed getting kicked when using /group kick command. Okay. There was an error log when many players connect, and once and some get disconnected during that very early. Right, whatever it was, they think they fixed it. And they should fix getting kicked when interacting with liquids. My gosh, I've been so lucky, I've been drinking honey. And they think they fixed the server-side error log with berry bushes. And they have mitigated the game calendar client server desync issue by sending more calendar syncs to clients. Should reduce oddities with time-sensitive actions. Oh, such as hot ingots on a forge. Oh my goodness. Okay. And they think they fixed wildly jumping forge contents at random. I must say, I've had my problems with forging in this update. As some of you have seen from my private world, I really had a few problems with forging because, one, it's changed so much, and two, I'm not convinced it's quite settled. But I've never had wildly jumping forge contents. They've got a multiple issues with fishing bobber and fishing line. Ghost bobbers should no longer be a thing. Ghost rope should no longer happen. And the fishing line will now rip if too far away from the bobber. Okay. Right. Empty box searching with the E. And it looks like bracket selector not working since release candidate 7. There was apparently a rare crash when loading in mechanical power networks, which has now been fixed. I mean, I'm not anywhere near mechanical power yet with this update. And it said that they fixed sheep using the wrong name when being listed in troughs. Misnamed sheep. Terrible. They've got some API tweaks. They have presented exceptions in mod events in the server/client event API server/client event manager. Wow. Cancelling any further event processing. Another API tweak, the looked at block class is now displayed on the HUD debug screen. API tweak can now run /wgen region animal to export animal spawn maps of the current region, and also prints out current animal equals more than map association to the log file. And they've also fixed some mechanical power blocks not having the right texture. Oh my gosh, there is so much that has been tweaked, fixed and amended. You can see that they're still working on getting clear explanations of some things like fishing, even as they're tweaking it, and the berry bushes are being tweaked all the time. But we are certainly getting closer and closer to a stable release. It's going to be fascinating to see how this works. One thing I have established is that downloading release candidate 8, which we are in now, has not crashed my worlds, and I consider that a plus. So my friends, closer and closer to a stable version. Excellent. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little summary. I have certainly enjoyed hearing about it, even though sometimes they mention things like theatre clothing and deep noble clothing that I've never even seen or heard of. I think almost I'm learning about the game through the updates, as probably many of you are. If you have enjoyed this, leave a like, consider subscribing to me, and I will see you in the next update video. Goodbye, my friends.